everyone. Welcome back to Finding the Spirits Inside. My name is Diann Henry, and with me is my brother, Steve Henry. He is acting as a guide on the journey to leaving the binds of the worldly of the world and returning to the spirits inside. Thank you for coming and sharing with us. And good morning, afternoon, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? But let's get something straight here between me and you. I am not acting as nothing. I'm being a guy. There's a difference, you know.
Yes,
When someone knows where the numbers are and they know you can't count, they know exactly how to guide you to it. And the only time they can be a problem is when you think that they don't. But if you see them counting, how do they gain without leading you to the counting source? It would be possible, would it? But the one who believes he can count, he has no other choice but to trick you, or you're going to beat his game, right? Let me tell you a little story to kind of straighten that. Now, to learn how to do something, it's not you crowd nothing inside of you. It means you got to do away with all the distractions. You know what I mean? Because the things are inside of you. But all the things that you believe they was, or they ought to be, they stand between you and the source, right?
Okay.
Because if the things didn't mislead you, they right inside of you. So you got to eliminate all the things that's not in. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a little example. A picture story. Just free your mind and ride this little journey. Let's say if it was you and two of your friends, y'all went off to school to get your education. Y'all started out in the first grade, in the second grade, and got to the third grade. Y'all learned to read. You with me? Okay, and when you learned to read, one of the friends, they started reading history and got to reading the Bible. They went all the way back to Adam and Eve. And they sat, wait, and prayed to the Garden of Eden to reappear. But the other one, they went to the fourth grade, the fifth grade, and the sixth grade, and they went on off out of your sight. You couldn't follow them because every Sunday you went back to the other one, getting back to God with him. So you go back every Sunday and wait back with Adam and Eve in the cave. But it's kind of hard to eat back there because it can't be done no more. So you come back to the third grade level and you work and you take 10% and give up your friends and take back there to the one in the cave praying. While the other one, he goes on off to finish the high school and go into college and do his thing, and he come back with a hoverboard he designed his name. Built his big house in the suburbs, and everybody flocked around him buying his hoverboards. But the other one, they kept you from leaving the third grade because every week you couldn't leave him because you go back and worship with him every week at the rock. You follow me?
Yes.
Okay, and also he got you to bring your children to the rock. You ain't looking at the children that break the rock. They go on down there, they come back with spaceships and all kind of things. While you gathering yours up and gathering all the friends around and taking back into the rock, praying and worship. Now, the only way you can get to the hoverboard stage, you got to overcome all the things in the world before you can add to it. In other words, if you bring out a song, it can't come from back nowhere from 5 minutes beyond. It's got to be right now. You got to overcome all the ones that have been before you. You can't go back and sing side by side with the other person. You know that, right? They've been recording out over top. They've been laying over top of here. They're all the way down here now. You got to be the newest one. In other words, everything is numbered. And the thing you bring to the world got to be the highest number of that character. You know that, right? If there's 100 things already out there, you can't bring out number 52 again. You know that, right? According to that graph, number 2, it won't work like that because you got to add yours on the end. You got to overcome everything in front of you and add your gift on the end. If it's not on the end, you'll be recreating someone else's gift. And how can You and Michael Jackson have the same spot inside of my heart. When I hear your voice, let's say Dolly Parton, when everybody hear her voice, they know exactly where it is. They know who it is, right? And they can't be no imposter because she opened up the window inside of her. When she talked, she can. They can't nobody ever take it away from her. If you was in the graveyard and you heard her voice or a strange voice, which one you gonna follow? You know she contributed to the world. You know she was out there with you. But you gonna follow a stranger instead of the voice that you're familiar with? Well, the same sentiment. Oh, getting back to the parable. So, by you going back to the every week, and then when you get to wondering about it, he bring you back on Wednesdays to keep you back turned from going the other way. You convince you and your children that the people went the other way are the devil. They after the world. But the world is what's outside of your skin. I don't care who it is. If it's outside of your skin, is it in the spirit or in the world? In the spirit. The numbers are the spirit. When you see them in the world, they fixed in place, right? Mm-hmm. That's gonna move. When they were two quills side the road on April 20, 1930, they're right there forever. And the number just describes how many was there. You use the things of the spirit to describe what you see outside. Without knowing them inside, how are you going to describe them outside? It's impossible, right? Correct. Well, anytime you go out trying to find the outside and look for it first, is it possible to find it? No. Because you can't recognize it when you see it. You're looking at it all the time. You have no idea what it is. But when you be someone who knows where it is, lead it to you on the inside. Every time you see the alphabet, you know every one of those letters. Then it can't nobody move them around, right? Right. It's the same with everything, but I'm getting away from my pearl. So when you're seeing the people bring the things, and you going back worshiping. You know, over your whole lifetime, there's not a single thing can change, because he couldn't come back from bringing the hoverboards. He couldn't go stuff it back into creation. And the one down at the rock, the snake in the tree, had it moved? No. They can't change. They can't move. Now, if you're witnessing him twice a week, can you go to the hoverboard ground? No. You can't move it. You can't go to the fourth grade because you having to work to support the one back then down to the cave. You supporting him. He got you out shopping for him, right? It don't matter who it is. When you don't know, what is the purpose of you being in the third grade still, not knowing? Whose fault is that? You see the one with the hoverboard, but yeah, you taking your money where? You putting all your time where? But most importantly, you taking your children where? You see your stuff in the school and in the church. And where you insisting that the children go? So now, whose fault is it? Whose fault would it be? Mine. You see, every situation has two sides. They won't ever mix. Left and right, up and down, every situation. Good and evil, right or wrong. They can't change. If you're going right, you got to go what every time? Which side you got to choose every time if you're going right? Can you ever choose the wrong way if you're going right? No. If you choose the wrong way, what's going to happen? It's the wrong way. So what's going to happen? You get lost. You ain't going nowhere because it's the wrong way. In other words, if you was going through that spirit of truth with the alphabet, the vowels, and nouns, alphabet, vowels, syllables, and then you jump over to the punctuation, are you going to get anywhere? No. Because you went the wrong way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is it ever going to go anywhere with you sitting on the wrong turn, or you going to have to correct that one first?
You got to correct it.
And what happens if you don't correct it?
You don't get to move.
Okay, so if you're right now in third grade, and you know the reason why you can't go to the fourth grade, you've been going back to, it's either one of those guys are good, and the other one is evil. The one went back to the beginning of time, the other went and fulfilled and added his gift to the world. Which one you think is going forward?
The second one.
The one who went and brought the hook. So what happened to the one who went back and waited and prayed?
It's stuck.
Okay, now, but at the end of all y'all lives, there's going to be a time of reckoning. You're going to have to account for your time here on the life and the earth. Okay, what you got to show from the middle?
Nothing.
Who can you blame?
Yourself only.
Only because one was good, the other was evil. And you chose which one? The one that add or the one that subtracted?
The ones that subtracted.
Yeah, you took away from what's in the world. Because if the other one would have stayed, could he have added? Could he have added his gift?
No.
But he went on and added, so you subtracted because you went where? Every Sunday, every week, you back there praying. Ain't nobody inside of you but who?
Me?
You think there's someone come here in this planet to be your leader?
No.
We are a world full of individuals. You're the only one inside of you. You got to follow what's in your heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you follow what's in your heart when you replace it by recording your heart through somebody else's words and deeds?
No.
Now, as far as with the Bible verses, which we go into is the 10th chapter of Matthew this time. Don't leave question why, because I know where it is, and I know you don't know. But what I first got to do is get all that. Well, maybe he ain't right this time. It don't affect me. It doesn't affect me. I know where when you know how to do algebra, do you shy away from the problems? When you know how to do algebra, do you shy away from any of the problems? But what happens when you don't know how to do it? You can't approach it, can you? You don't know how to do it. Because you don't learn it, you find the window inside it. If you don't know how to do the multiplication, how that setup works, I do it from that 144 characters, that 1 to 12, certain record. If you don't learn how to do that from that little card, can 4 times 4 mean anything to you?
No.
Not a single thing, because you can't see it. But once you find that card, 43,016 times 43 million and 18 don't mean nothing to you, right? Because you see the system. It's inside of you. You adopt the spirit. Well, it's the same with everything. And once you see it, can't nobody change it. Once you know how to tell the time, you got to practice. The only way you're going to do anything is like the ABC. I can show them to you, but I can't make you practice it. Can I?
No.
But in anything that you practice, you know without a doubt, you're going to get good at it, whether you intend to or not. If you practice throwing a piece of paper in the trash can, you can hit it with your eyes closed after a while. You know that, right?
Okay.
You know, your body is trained to it. You don't have to look no more. But all the things you don't practice, what happens?
Fall out. Fall off.
Okay, now, according to the math, you know I got to know something that you don't practice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's right here on the recording, so if you don't practice it, you're going to know it. You think you're going to see it one time, one after the other. It's like the soap operas. When you get into them soap operas watching it, you can know every voice on it. You ain't got to look at it. You hear the voice, you know who it is. You hear the situation, you know who's in it, right? Because of why? Because you smart or because you practice it and they come alive to you?
Practice. I asked you a couple days ago about, what, when you say practice it, specifically, what does that mean?
Okay. Okay. You remember the soap opera reference we just said?
Mm-hmm.
See, you can't learn that. You just got to move, shift your awareness to something, or a different direction. You don't ever supposed to learn that. You have to move through, and when you learn something, you learn it in your head. When you practice something, you learn you can do it with your eyes closed because you find it in your heart. Once you find the alphabet, can they ever move? Can they ever change? But if you read across them one time and try to remember them, can you ever use them?
No.
You can't. So if it's right here, we put it in tape. Like I tell you, every time we talk, I know exactly where we stopped at. But when they have a gap or something, I have to kind of back up and kind of carry it further because I leave it right there. Just when you have time, no, you don't put yourself out or do begrudgingly. But there ain't nothing no greater than finding yourself. But you're not going to find yourself and find yourself trying to go through those cracks because you got it all out of perspective. This thing was 2,000 years ago. This thing is what Whitney Houston and them did. They brought his words from inside out. We're beyond that point now. It's a new era. He was telling you, you see the side of these things, it was a different era. Someone's going to come show you something. How are you going to go back 2,000 years ago and find something that's going to be relevant now? Because you went, when you got the third grade, in order to be relevant now, you got to go and overcome all the things that come from his character. Everything from that gospel truth and that number one grid. You got to overcome all of them to add something in a character, all the steps. Whatever's in your character. If it was a number of character and they brought out the 899, you got to bring out what next?
900.
Right, you got to bring out the 900. So if you went back sub 15,000, you don't have another lifetime. So how you going to get from the minus 16,000 to 900 plus? Is it possible? You got a lifetime and time don't change, How are you going to get from there to down there?
I don't know.
There ain't no way possible. So what you got to do is turn loose down there. Let someone who know how to swim, just show you how to swim. But you can't put your Christ in them. Because you got to overcome that era. If you don't overcome it, you can't add nothing. In your character, if they got first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, ninth grade. Okay, now, you're going to bring out one of them or you got to overcome all of them to bring out the 10?
Got to overcome all of them to bring the 10th.
Because you can't come out in the story. You got to, your thing, I don't care. And if you missed it by 16, that means, let's say, I used before the telephone, when we had the roto dial, and you supposed to have brought the touch tone, the little sounds that come after the roto dial, and you didn't bring it. The next generation got to bring it because if not, we still got the roto dial phone, right? But we don't have the roto dial phone. We got touch the phone now. It's all in your skin and all that kind of stuff now. So, can you bring out any of those that's already out?
No.
You got to bring one that none of us ever seen because you got to bring the phone. You can't make nothing. Everything is the next generation or something. You can't learn nothing for you to do. What you do is inside of you. But if you learn somebody else's stuff, how are you going to find yours? Remember, when the devil went back to the cave, you down there every week with him. The other one went on to find his and added to the world. In your lifetime, what you did, you went round and round and round. Going which way? But if you would have went following the one with the hoverboard, you would have got away from who? The one back there praying. The one back there praying can't add nothing to the world. He built big monuments to him. What good it do you? But the ones who brought the hoverboard, his voice is inside of you, but you can't hear it because you were. So when you get in the grave, you don't know the voice of the one who's been there because you've been where?
Out in the world.
Okay, so, I mean, according to our graph, the spirit of truth, if you don't complete it, what does that mean? You can't receive the gift, right? Because when you complete the spiritual doctrines, which make up a character doctrine, you receive the gift for that doctrine. You can do it. You can see it inside of you. You don't learn it after you see it. When you see the reading and writing, do you ever learn it again?
No.
But you do what? You use it as your own. But at reckoning time, can you get the credit for bringing it into the world?
No.
Everything got a reason and purpose of being. Right now, can you state your reason and purpose of being? And who else inside there but you?
No one else.
Okay, so can anyone possibly describe your reason and purpose of being? Do you think, according to the math, your math teacher, if no one else can describe your reason and purpose of being, you can't describe your reason and purpose of being, equals what at reckoning time?
Thumbs down.
Okay, because you got to stand on your own doing, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we are at the point where we need to cue up our verse chapter, excuse me, Matthew 10. We'll be back.
Okay. Cut me off in the middle of the prayer, but that'll be all right. I can pick it up next time.
Let's pick it up. I actually had a question that I wasn't going to ask because I'm eager to take a little long.
I'm just joking. So the whole thing is about, I need to change. I got to get you away from depending on your abilities, because where your abilities got you. You're a sister now. I'm gonna show it to you. It's something you really can do in 5 minutes. It'll probably take, I'd say, about 20 hours. That's me guessing. You know, providing that you can come away from the bullshit. And that's things that you don't know. You know, when you know something inside of you, you can't go wrong. That's what all our little talks be showing you. Once you see it inside of you, who can tell you wrong? And once you see it wrong, who can tell you that's right? Because you seeing it, you're looking through my eyes. But you can't add your version. You can't add your what you call them from the Bible. You can't add your verses into this, because we all see things differently. I'm showing you what I see to lead you past it, not for you to learn it. You know, when you see what it's saying, it's like a thing. Once you see it a few times, you go to the next step. You go to the next, and it builds. You don't see the whole thing from the first one. How can you? You're trying to make up a bunch of lifetime because you spend your time back at Adam and Eve in the tree. And the further you go back, that's where you got to be, right? Now, what you got to do to get down there to the hoverboard person, you got to see that all that is an illusion. Any that you hang on to, what's going to happen? Any of the things that you don't know you're going to hold on to, what can possibly happen? Ain't nobody in there but who?
Nobody but me.
Okay, so if you hold on to anything between the hoverboard people, back to the caveman people, if you take either item, what good is going to do you? Because to overcome the thing, you got to be where? On the other side of who? The one in the cave praying to the bush, or the one that's brought the hoverboard or spaceship? You got to go to one of the extremes or the other to overcome Can't nothing come from that there now. It's just math won't allow that to be true. Remember that spirit of truth is those 12 steps. If it's a character, it takes those 12 steps or you stop in it. Okay, I'm out of here.
All right, okay. See you later.
Chapter 10. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now the names of the 12 apostles are these: the first Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the publican, James the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent forth, and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Provide neither gold nor silver, nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat. And into whatsoever city or town ye shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till ye go thence. And when ye come into an house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when ye depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents, and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them in his household? Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore, ye are of more value than many sparrows. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward.
Thank you so much for joining us again today. We'll be back here soon. Thank you. Bye.